I am assuming that we are live. It's hard to tell. Hello. I need to try to make this one quick because I have got to get out on the road. Holy smokes. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm hoping that you found something good in your day already today. That would be awesome. We've got the jerky there. We've got the rabbit. Moving fast. I keep thinking about that poor little bunny that ran into the roadway when I was driving and caused me to look at my tire to make sure that, I don't know what difference it would have made. I guess I would have said a little prayer if I had ran over the bunny, but the bunny friend. But instead, what I found was steel belts on my tire. Had that little bunny not been looking back to either assess the situation, look for a friend, or whatever he was looking back for, he literally stood there for a couple minutes trying to look back and see what the heck was going on. Had that bunny not done that, I would not have discovered that I had steel belts on the inside of my tire, and I wouldn't have gotten the tire changed, and it probably would have been a situation, or at least one that caused a little bit of hardship as far as having to get it towed and then a lot more hassle. We've got the world is your oyster. So just as much as, timing usually works out. Like when you go to a door and someone happens to be coming out of that door and they open the door for you, it's a small, very small gesture that just happens based on timing, but still the timing was still there for that door to be open for you so you didn't have to. Or the elevator is just opening up when you're about to walk up to go to the elevator, things of that nature. It's like timing is perfect. And you've got to give gratitude. Well, you don't have to, you don't got to, but it would be good if you gave gratitude in those moments of time to just recognize the fact that the timing is working out. And that goes as far as the world is your oyster. If you believe in those kinds of things and you believe in the positivity of things and that is your focus, then things tend to head in that direction. Granted, though, just like I've said previously, you don't want to hide from reality of what it is, because that would be a detriment. Then you're caught off guard, and then your whole equilibrium is knocked off square. You've got your situational ship and the wishing well. There could have been a situational ship in the past. Oh, look, a gnat. There could have been a situational ship in the past, and now they're kind of reminiscing. Maybe someone's gossiping about that situational ship. Maybe you didn't even know you were in a situational ship because you thought you were dating another single person. You know how they do that. They come across as being single, and then you're dating, and then all of a sudden you find out later, what do you mean? Hi, this is so-and-so's girlfriend, and what? Right? I had always assumed that people would always just be upfront and honest with you about their situation, their intentions. Boggles my mind when people have to just feel like they've got to lie in order to be associated with you or to date you. Like, really? This wishing well is the woman at the well for me, biblically speaking. How people will sit and gossip and throw stones at people who are innocent in the situation, basically. But yet she still keeps returning to the well, making her wishes. Unbeknownst to her, had the person on the other side been honest, then she wouldn't even be in that situation in the first place. It's like the story of my life. I've always been transparent, upfront, and honest with people. Did you drive through that stop sign? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Back when I was like in my, I think I was maybe 19, 18 at the time. And I had to go to the bathroom so desperately. I was just trying to make it to my mother's house. And so I was speeding. I believe it was on PCH, probably about 11 o'clock at night. And it was completely in an area. It was up north. It was completely abandoned area. It was there's nobody there. Absolutely no cars were around. And I'm speeding and I see a policeman that was pulled over to the side of the road. And of course oh, no. Maybe. I'm speeding and I see the policeman. I just remember being at the bottom of the hill and I'm seeing the cop at the top of the hill with his lights on. And I'm thinking, oh, I already know that's for me. How I knew that was for me, probably just because I felt guilty enough that I was speeding. So what do? I see the lights. Mind you, this is like a big hill, so it's like how many, like maybe he was a mile or so behind me. I see the lights and I pull over and I wait for the man to catch up. He pulls over behind me. He says, "What's going on? Why are you speeding?" I said, "Because I need to use the restroom. I really need to use the restroom. So bad." All right, well, and then he goes and does his thing with, your ID and registration, and he goes and checks that out, and he, what seems like takes his little time, his sweet time doing that, because I remember sitting there like, oh my gosh, it shouldn't take this long. But it did. We've got the mullet. Conservative in the front, but a party in the back. Let's make a person wiggle in their seat a little bit. And so I'm waiting, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So he finally lets me go, and he tells me, well, up there to the left, you could probably make a turn down there, and there's probably a restroom down there somewhere. You guys, when I tell you that this was a completely abandoned city, there was absolutely nothing going on there. There was no restrooms. There was nothing there. I was so sad. So then I had to turn around, and then I eventually ended up making it to my mom's house and whatnot. But the whole point is that I saw the sirens, I saw the lights, and I just knew it was for me. And so I pulled over because that's the kind of person I am. I wasn't going to just keep on driving until the man finally caught up with me. What point would that prove? It was obvious he was coming for me. I was speeding. So I had to take responsibility of that. So I'm just saying, I always had thought that everyone was like that. Call me sheltered, but that's just the way that I am built, until I realized that no, people are not all like that. Ooh, we've got people who make really big choices and decisions that are causing huge changes in their life. Wowee. Wake up, folks. I wish that would automatically just stop when it's on like another program like this. Sorry. So sorry. Because everybody wants to see my finger in their face. Don't point at people. No pointing fingers. Oh, Lord. All right, what is that one? Oh, it's that one again. I'm not a fan. That one makes me nervous. We've got the scroll, something on the internet. Somebody could be wasting time. I know for some reason I kept wasting time this morning. It's like I don't have time to look for a basket to put all my extra coffee in. I have to get out on the road. It's like all of a sudden I want to go ahead and do all these little things that I can't. I can't. My living situation needs me to be out on the road. We've got integrity for sale, like we were just talking about, folks. Somebody's integrity was for sale. And this says sold on it. And I'm kind of sad that I even made the card look like that, because I would much rather have had a sold sign somewhere else, so that way we could know if the sold sign came out with the integrity for sale, versus just assuming that someone sold their integrity. I guess if making a deal with the devil comes out, we'll know for sure, right? Center of the deck, we've got a book. All right, so someone keeping a ledger or a story time or some kind of keeping track of, maybe someone's life is an open book. Maybe their integrity and their authenticity is an open book for everyone to see, and maybe someone is finally reading that. We've got a stick in the mud. All right, someone could be saying someone's a stick in the mud because they don't make risky choices. It's a new day. Come on, live a little, right? We've got our water glass, which is also our Aquarian symbol for me, the water bearer. Transparency, authenticity. This is nourishing to your body and soul. A new day. Anyone can do it, guys. If there are people in your life that are not of the greatest integrity, I mean, they can change if they want to. The key word here is they. No one will ever change for anyone else but themselves. And you shouldn't expect anyone to change just for you. I'm saying that because I thought it could happen. I thought someone would want to live a life of being loved, but that wasn't the case. So I kept forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and just saying, you know what? This person will find out that being loved is way better than all the hardship that they cause. But no, folks, it didn't work out that way. We've got our hydrant here. Interestingly enough, we've got a water glass here and we've got a hydrant. Both have to do with your emotions. This one is for the taking, right? This one is there for you to nourish yourself with, and this one is not. You have to have a professional to unlock this one. Unless someone, of course, crashes into it with their car. I've seen that a few times. But in those cases, it's still fun for the kids, right? Because they get to go and run through the sprinklers. I've seen that on, like on the news when kids are having a good time in the water hydrant. But then it also brings me back to the fact that LA County didn't have any water when they needed it most. Where was it? But we've got a little something right here. So maybe the masses don't have it, but you do. What are you going to do with that little water glass? Is your glass half empty or is it half full? Instant regret with the bangs. Maybe the person who hoarded all the water is in regret now because the whole city burnt down. I don't think so. Remember, we're talking about integrity for sale. Maybe someone's in regret for selling their integrity. Maybe somebody sold something they weren't supposed to sell, or took something they weren't supposed to take. Or maybe they were so deep into their own emotions that was so overpowering for them that they needed a professional in order to work out. Now they're in regret. Going over all the times that they weren't very nice. They were a stick in the mud. Every single new day they were given a new opportunity to start again and to be a different person. But no. Their glass was half empty all the time. Even though they had a whole hydrant of water. To each their own, I say. Next card is yin and yang. Bringing the balance in after frustration and after regret. We've got weight. It's a heavy weight to bear. Balancing out the scales, perhaps. Maybe the balance is working out in somebody's favor. You're missing the point. This has to do with keeping the rules. and merit versus the graces that are freely already given. So instead of just seeing things as a blessing, somebody wants to keep the rules. They're very adamant with that stick in the mud. They're very adamant about staying with the rules and the, what is that called? Not performances. This has to do with the Galatians chapter 4. The freedom of favor, layering the ceremonies, there we go, leaving the ceremonies behind and grabbing onto reality. You may think that things are just like I was saying, how I really thought that everybody was on board with, let's just be honest, upfront, authentic, straightforward, but in reality, that wasn't the case. Freedom of favor through rules and rituals, but stand firm in the gospel of being children of the Most High. That is where the favor lies. So you're not having favor if you believe, but it's just a concept. If you have favor because you are following the strict rules, right? But no, you actually have favor just because of the group that you're in, perhaps. Maybe you're the bad apple, or the person you're dealing with, I apologize, or the person that you're dealing with is the bad apple. But you still get to stay in the group just because you're in that group. Right? It doesn't have anything to do with what you do or what you produce. It's how many people you can muster around you in order to support you within whatever it is that you're doing, or that person, I'm trying to say. It can go vice versa, in the negative sense and in the positive sense. Maybe you're not the greatest at typing. No. Let me back up because I have another story. Maybe you're not the great at running. You're not very fast. But because you've got a group and a team that can run really fast, they're going to make up for your lack of speed. I did that in college. I thought that I was the greatest runner because one time when I was in my 20s or something, I drank. I had some alcoholic beverages, or I must have been 21. Anywho, I had some alcoholic beverages. I was just discovering alcohol, and I heard that a friend was in trouble and somebody wasn't being very nice to her, so I booked it over there as fast as I could, and I'm telling you, I thought I was just running like the wind. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for track and field. Ha ha. They put me on the relay team, and everyone on the team was mad at me. Why did you do that? I also have to mind you, that workout was brutal. I was sick that night. We've got the Bob. You want to be conservative in, what do you want to be conservative in? In the nature of the things that you're doing inside this group. We have that innocent regret, the balance, the weight. Balancing the weight out with your group, taking up the slack for you. Let's see what else comes out with the conservative, because I'm at a loss. The locomotive with the train. On the right track. Someone wants to make sure that they're on the right track before they go any further, perhaps. Because remember, this person's in regret for whatever it was that they do, and they're trying to balance out the scales in this situation, so they don't want to move too fast. Like the speed of a locomotive. Who is that? Was that Superman? Dun dun dun! Superman to the rescue. I've got two cards coming out at once. We have gloves and hospital. Someone is fighting having to go to the hospital. Someone is fighting rest. Someone is fighting healing, or they're protecting themselves from the hospital. Hey now, lack of integrity, and I already shared my story about what happened to me at the hospital. Maybe someone's wearing their gloves at the hospital like they're supposed to. But maybe they still got some kind of injury even though they were wearing the gloves. If you're going to talk about that whole graces thing, you're missing the point. Maybe someone needs to wear kids' gloves while they're at the hospital. Maybe it's some kind of infectious viral something, infectious diseases that's coming out here. Holy smokies. Maybe someone was part of a train. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the adult sense, folks. It can be some other kind of train. Like a sequence of events. Like you do this, the next person does that. Because I know there's been multiple times where I'll have conversations with people and they'll say the same word. And I know this is over the top, but this is just something that I picked up on. They'll say the same word or phrase that the person that I spoke to previously had said. It's the most bizarre instance when it happens. I'm like, that's really weird. Or I'll talk about something and they'll react to it and say the same exact things and the same exact demeanor as the person before I shared that information with would do. Super bizarre. And I've had to spin my mind around that a couple times, but it's like weird. So there could be some kind of train situation where maybe that something similar is happening in your life. Maybe you're realizing or noticing the synchronicities or the things that are going on in that nature. So maybe it's not the action of what's being said here, but it's just the fact that it's synchronicity, like we were going on with the timing of things. Everything balances out regardless of how heavy it might become. It still balances out eventually. That's probably better up there. We've got divide here. Are they divided on the fact that they feel regret? Maybe the group is divided on that, but we've got a projector and we've got a movie scene here. Someone's projecting their own situation out on someone else. We've got the flat top. Someone is trying to see it clearly. Flat Earth, right? We've got the Sasquatch was trying to come in upside down. We have the Sasquatch with something that is very elusive. So it's not elusive anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and put it upside down considering it wanted to be, and it's coming in after the flat top. Something's very clear. You can see right over the horizon. The Sasquatch. You're not sure if it's real or not. Yes, this is a real situation. Again, with upside down, we've got the mold. Okay, so old and crusty, but new. It's refreshed. It's fresh. It's not moldy. It's healthy. Okay, I don't want these to keep going upside down. Did I just cheat? I don't know. We've got the vampire bat, nocturnal animal. Interesting. We've got the new day as our split of the deck, and we've got integrity with a bright, obviously during the day sign, but now we're going into our nocturnal selves. And we also had the dark with the projector with that part showing. And we've got our nocturnal animal here. In case you're new here and you're wondering what's going on with the cards, I've been making these cards, and so they're all different stages. We've got the one that's just written down because I didn't want to forget the word, but I wanted to be able to use the word. And then we have ones that are just penciled in here. And some of them are researched, some are not. And then I've got the ones that are completely colored in, and most of them are researched, but not really all of them. So we've got our vampire bat. Believe it or not, vampire bats are very much feared. People are scared of vampire bats with, good reason, because if they've got the rabies or whatnot, they're scared. They think they're going to be attacked by them, but they don't really want to bother you. They're actually in navigation through the unknown. They're actually it's very positive. Chinese culture symbols of extreme good fortune and happiness and longevity. We've got transformation, guiding through personal change, the ability to move through fear and uncertainty with confidence. Navigating the unknown. Intuitive and sensing animals, highly social, trust your inner voice and instincts. Strong family ties here and communication. Native Americans, a shaman, or a trickster spirit. Well, that's interesting. So maybe we have a new one of those coming, or maybe let's go ahead on the positive. Maybe someone's going to run into a shaman. Maybe someone is a shaman and they're being told you're on the right track. But we were just told we were missing the point, so that's confusing. Maybe they're saying that, because you know how I always say, I'm not a psychic, I'm not a medium. I'm just an artist who makes cards and reads the cards. And maybe the fact that I keep saying that I'm not a psychic or a medium, I'm kind of missing the point of the fact that I'm still reading the cards. What you label it is not as important as what you are. You still have that connection in some regards to source. So maybe the vampire bat spirit, maybe someone's gaining a new, I don't want to say new trait, new goal, new gift of some sort. Let's see if the gift cards comes out. We've got rose-colored lenses. This could be because of the way someone sees things. Divine intervention. Success. The divine's been working on something. The divine's been projecting something, and there's been success in that. There's success in having rose-colored glasses, regardless of what somebody else's integrity is. The success of the balance, of projecting the balance, of illuminating the balance through the betrayal. This is the betrayal card, and because we can't, successful betrayal. The divine successfully intervened on this betrayal that had happened, multiplied. There was multiple betrayals that had happened, folks. And those betrayals were elusive at one time, but now they're quite obvious. No longer elusive, no longer wondering if it was real or not. Yes, it was real. You were betrayed. Nest. Somebody took your nest egg. Maybe someone depleted the family. Maybe someone abandoned. Or on another hand, maybe someone's preparing their nest to put an egg in there. And that's what's coming. Let's see what happens. Surrender. Surrender to the empty nest. Surrender to the fact that maybe I may be losing my home. What will be, right? That's the way I gotta say it. It's like, if I'm meant to be here, I will be here. If I'm not meant to be here, I will not be here. I'll just be in a new location, whether that's in my car or not. And I'm laughing. I giggled a little because it's just like, oh my gosh, seriously? It's the whole reason why I selected my car in the first place, in case I were ever to be homeless, and at least I had a car to sleep in that I would be comfortable in. We've got a toolbox, of which I'm trying to get traded in on something else so I can afford the gas, for Pete's sake. Even on a discount, gas is still $5 a gallon. We've got our toolbox here. Maybe someone needs to surrender to their toolbox. Hopefully we'll get a tool out here so we could have some sense that maybe this person has some tools to work with. Maybe someone's surrendering to the idea that maybe someone does not have the tools in order to be a part of this scenario. That's why they betrayed someone, because they just didn't have they plain didn't have the tools. Medusa, victim blaming. Medusa was an innocent party, from what I understand. She was an innocent party in the situation, whether someone was jealous, and so they wanted to curse her so she wouldn't get the attention of the men, or another version of the story is that Medusa was victimized in a certain place, like a temple, and the person who oversaw the temple was upset that even happened in that sacred space, and so they turned Medusa into someone who no one would ever look at again. So not only was she victimized, but she continued to be victimized and punished because someone had an empty toolbox, and that isn't right. We've got a commitment here. Maybe someone wants to make a commitment to Medusa. They are making a commitment to this change. Regret is divided. Change of appearance is divided. We've got yo-yo, someone playing stupid games. Someone's committed to playing dumb, childish games. Or they could be committed to practicing. What are they practicing? Props. Deceiving, wearing a mask. Not being seen, putting on a production or a show. They're committed to this. They're committed to playing games with this victim person. Shining the spotlight on them. They think this person is alien in nature. Maybe they're that much different than everybody else. Putting a spotlight on their home, on their family. It's a huge production here with the multiplied. And it's quite clear now. They were following some kind of ritual. They were following some kind of plan. They were following some kind of ceremony. Multiple people were involved in this production. I'm thinking conveyor ship with the bob haircut. Like a new conveyor ship. I'd probably say conservatorship. Whatever it is where they put someone in charge of somebody's belongings or life, rather, with the book. They really need to have new rules about that. People abuse the process, you know. We've got the number 10 here, learning the lesson and moving on and moving forward to something new. So we've got the new day. We've got the mold, which is upside down. So it's like it's new, it's fresh. And then we've got the card here with starting again with the number 10. It could have something to do with October. I always know that it seemed like for me, I think the month has changed, but before October was the month that some big, huge change would go on in my life. Like I would have to move in October, or I would start a new job in October, something of that nature. I don't know if it could be the same for you too. But surrendering now to this new beginning. Maybe someone's going to be straight up just picked up and moved somewhere. They're going to have to move their home somewhere. Like, I guess that would be my situation. Divine order, perfection, new beginnings, an end of a cycle and start of another. It's a completion and enlightenment. With that, definitely with the UFO card, there's some kind of enlightenment here for sure. We've been kind of having that this whole read, right? With the enlightenment. It's very clear because of Sasquatch. It's no longer a wonder whether it's real or not. We've got the flat top. We can see it clear as day. We've got the projector. We're literally shining a light on a situation so we can show you exactly what it is that's going on. And this all happened through divine intervention and success of this person who was working with an empty toolbox against this victim. Someone was committed to doing these games. They were committed to this group who were orchestrating some kind of production. And now even through this whole production, this person was able to manage to make it through the areas of unknown. They were on the right track in doing this. And yeah, they might have appeared to be a stick in the mud because maybe they didn't turn to situations that were causing them to be a detriment to themselves, right, with the toolbox. And someone's calling this person a stick of mud because they were trying to create the story on these people day in and day out. They wanted to control the way that they saw the world, whether their house glass was half empty or half full. And this person was probably seen as a stick in the mud because they weren't acting in a way that they, whoever they are, wanted them to act. These people who were playing the games wanted this person to behave in a certain way, but when they stayed on the straight and narrow and they stayed on track, they're calling her or him a stick in the mud. They wanted this person to sell their integrity, and they don't understand, why isn't this person selling their integrity? You mean you can make it through life and not sell your integrity, folks? You sure can. We've got bored. Someone's getting bored with the situation. Ball and chain, again with the weight. Someone's getting bored with being stuck. Bored with watching someone drag this chain around. We've got shade. Someone doesn't want to be seen, or someone is shading someone. Someone is making fun of someone. They don't want to be seen. They're protecting their own image. They're committed to protecting their own image, no matter how hard it's going to get. Dream catcher protects you while you're sleeping, so you can only have good dreams. Protection from bad dreams and thoughts. Someone may need a sleep or a nap. Having, if reversed, lost dreams and unsettled sleep. Someone sleeps well, regardless of the games that are being played. Silver spoon in the mouth because they know, displaced. This silver spoon, these came out together. It has been displaced, the silver spoon. Maybe someone was supposed to have some kind of income and it was taken away. Someone was pushed out of the silver spoon. Maybe this group was trying to take the silver spoon and they're being pushed out of these finances. Whoever had the production, maybe they don't have the money to make this production anymore. It was somebody else's money they were making the production for. They're trying to terrorize this person, but it wasn't working. When you're not invited to the funeral, that's really funny considering it's coming in after the silver spoon. So obviously there was probably some family inheritance or a friend of the family or a friend, I guess, but you weren't invited to the funeral. Wonder why that is. And I was thinking the conveyor ship before, remember? So maybe they didn't want you to be invited to the funeral because part of this whole game plan and part of this whole production was to make it seem like you weren't even able to make it to the funeral for whatever reason. But why weren't you invited to the funeral? I've asked myself that. Materialistic, because they're trying to say maybe this person's materialistic and they'd only be coming to the funeral because of that. Or the people are materialistic because they wanted to take over on the silver spoon and they didn't want you to even know about it. They didn't want anyone to even see that you were available to even inherit whatever it was that you were supposed to inherit. That's why you weren't invited to the funeral, folks. Because somebody else was materialistic. Who was it? I don't know. We've got a female seahorse there. Someone that fills up, gives all of their wealth, gives all of their eggs, gives all of their offspring to the male so that the male masculine energy can go ahead and reproduce it or grow it or let it go whenever they want to let it go, whenever it's time and they think it's time to let it go. There's evidence of this. Someone was being protected by the elements during this time, or it could be some kind of umbrella operation that maybe it was somebody at the top, or it could be a corporation at the top. We've got the hoot hoot owl. The owl is ready to say something. Look how mad he looks. Hoot hoot. Usually owls are very quiet at night, just like the vampire bat, nocturnal animals. But when those little owls want to say something and get their point across, you hear them, don't you? You don't see them usually, but you hear them. And we've got the number 8 here. Could have to be, maybe this person's going to say something and you're going to hear about it in August. Or let's just say 8 days, 8 hours. Wouldn't that be great? Or even 8 weeks. But I heard 8 days. It's also an infinity symbol. Maybe this is something that someone will say that will stick with someone to the end of time. It's a masculine action is also what the number 8 stands for. And remember, she gave everything she had to this masculine. On another note, the female, I don't know if you know this, but the female seahorse and the male seahorse, they will mate for life. But as soon as this female realizes or senses that this male is not healthy, and we had the hospital thing here, she'll take off and find someone else. So there could have been someone actually in this scenario, because there's 2 snails here. Maybe there was someone who were married, and this female, maybe she knew that her spouse or her significant other, and you could switch the roles if you'd like, was not doing well and was being hospitalized or something, and maybe she took advantage of the situation behind the scenes while they were at the hospital. Maybe she actually needs to be protected by being put and placed into a hospital. But she was working behind the scenes, making sure that she had everything taken care of and balanced out through, and she was committed to playing these games with this group of people, to where when it was time for this masculine energy, maybe the masculine energy passed away, and she was the one in charge of the funeral arrangements and didn't invite you. But it's all being exposed. When all this stuff was going on, you were protected from everything that was going on here. What's the center card? The center card, oh, the betrayal is the center card. So this whole story is about the whole betrayal. Somebody's integrity being for sale, the betrayal, the fact that they were trying to make you to be something that you weren't. Because you continue to be a stick in the mud from their point of view. You weren't playing along with their plan. There is no rest for the wicked. None, nada. And then we've got the snake here. The blueberry with his sense of entitlement saith, having authority in what they're saying. So maybe an authority figure is going to be coming in and tell you about everything that you've been protected from this whole time. It might come as a shock, but remember, you kind of already knew it was happening because you're watching these videos, right? So it's like, it kind of eases the shock value a little bit because you kind of already knew. I want to show you what time it is, just so in case you're watching it. I guess it doesn't matter because I'm not doing the Google thing, right? All right, somebody has snapped. Someone has snapped from the switcheroo. So maybe something's going to be returned. It was a double life of some kind, a two-faced person, a Gemini. Geminis are the nicest people, the ones that I've known. At least they've always been, pretty nice to me. Maybe I was just on the right side of things. Somebody found that someone switched. It's not switched anymore. It's not swapped anymore. They found I grow healthy healing. They're finding that someone that they were talking about who wasn't invited to the funeral is actually a healthy healing person. That's where they grow. And they don't have the money. They're wondering, why in the world does this person not have the money when they're a healthy person? Their mindset is a growth mindset. I could be an initial, first, middle, or last initial. Contract is over. It's been cut with it upside down. There is no contract anymore. There is no cease and desist. You're free to talk about it all you'd like. And you know what? Usually you might be sensitive about things and sensitive in nature about the facts, or maybe you're just purely you overcare about other people's feelings. But in this case, maybe it's okay just to say it how it is. We have an app here. An app is almost exposed. There's an app that they've been using. Someone's been using some kind of app. And that's been exposed, just like we were talking about the Sasquatch. It's very clear. And the flat top, it's very clear. What's been going on, it's very clear. It's time to look at the sunny side of things. Oh, the body art. The body art wanted to come out on another card that I took off because it's like, how am I going to... I mean, I guess I could just make a person with tattoos all over their body, but for some reason, I just didn't feel it was the right one to do. I may go back and do it again. I don't know. Tipsy upside down. They're no longer drinking and they're screaming now. Maybe they're going through rehab and they're screaming about everything that they've done that now they're in regret about. It's tipsy upside down. You can't blame it on the alcohol. Memories, we've got clear here. It's very clear. It's becoming clear, I should say, because it's not completely straight up and down. This person is not your friend. You're finding out clearly that they're not your friend. That you've always been giving them a pass with the password here. Theme is upside down. Falconry, they were using birds. They used the falcons in war. So you were living in a war that you probably had no idea you were living in a war. Maybe you did. Maybe you sensed it. All over a heirloom, this person was trying to appear to be a little vixen, a little sex toddy. That was their muse. Compromise, but you didn't compromise. Maybe you're being seen as the vixen. A WAR cry. Don't blame the alcohol. Maybe someone's drinking clear. They were drinking clear alcohol. Pass on the compromise. You're not going to compromise because you're remembering everything. The theme is upside down. There's no rhyme or reason to the whole scenario. It's like, why would you even do it? But you were their muse. Maybe you're their muse for them to get healthy healing. Why weren't you invited to the funeral? That's probably my favorite card because I often wonder that. All right, folks, being said, thank you so much for being here. I hope you make it a great day. There's something good in every single day. You just have to make it so, and you have to choose to focus on that part of it. Take care. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Bye. If I can find the X button every time.